Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. At least that's the plan. Check this out. Discovery Optics. Countless and countless and countless of you guys have asked me, hey, have you ever tried this brand of scopes? And up until today, the answer has been no. But we have a scope here. I'm actually going to put it on my 6mm Creedmoor. I'll show you here in a second. And we're going to mount it on the 6 Creedmoor, stretch it out. I already know the dope. So since I have all the numbers on my hand loads for the 6mm Creedmoor, we'll be able to know if the dials and everything works and if this is going to be a good scope or not. But check it out. I'm going to bring you guys in close and unbox it with me. Alright, so get it down here where we can see it. What's in the box? I have not opened this. You're seeing it for the first time like I am. So, quality control card. That's pretty cool. Somebody has checked everything on here. That's pretty cool. That's not something that you see all the time. There's actually a quality control check there and there. Oh my goodness. So they're, before they ship this out the door, apparently they check a whole bunch of quality stuff. That's actually pretty cool. And again, this is not super crazy expensive stuff. This brand of scopes appears to have a whole bunch of features, but you get a lot for your money. This is a 6-36 power. This is the XED 6-36 by 56. This is the big boy. So, rings. I always think it's cool when a scope comes with rings. These are 35mm. That's a 35mm tube. Woo boy. Also, this is another feature that I like. It actually gives you the torque specs on the mount and up here on the rings. Every company should do that. Torque specs. So, I'm already liking what I'm seeing here. I'm gonna leave that in there. It comes with a sunshade. Sometimes I use those, sometimes I don't. That'll screw on the front. What's in this thing? Scope leveling kit. I've seen those before, but I've never used them. And then the scope itself. Oh, big old scope with a ton of the zoomies, which is what we're after. Long range scope. Oh man, I already like this wheel. Big parallax wheel on the side. So, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Zoom all the way up to 36. It's a 6-36. I'll show you the model again there on the side of it. Y'all can see that. The XED 6-36 first focal plane. And it's got open turrets. And it's illuminated. A lot of people want to hear it. So far, so good. And it has zero stop. Tracking is guaranteed. If you don't know what tracking means, it means if you sight it in and put it to 0, and say you dial it for, 1,000 yards, which for 6 Creedmoor would be somewhere up in here, then you dial it back down to 0, that you'll still be sighted in dead on. So, let me get this thing mounted up on my 6 Creedmoor, and we'll get to it. Alright, so, I got it mounted, as you can see, on my 6mm Creedmoor. This is my Havoc Hit. Heavy barrel on this thing. Check it out. Folding stock, it's pretty slick. You see that heavy barrel? On the end I got my Banish 30 V2, but this is the scope we're here talking about. Mounted real easy, machining and everything looks good. I don't foresee us having any issues, but I just looked down the barrel and did my best to kind of bore sight this thing. So we should at least be on paper at 100 yards. And to get it on paper, I'm going to use some Remington core-locked 100 grainers. And once we get close, I'm going to use my hand loads. The video is up of me making these, but These are 109 grain burgers. Which ones? Long range hybrids. I think they're called long range hunter hybrids, but the video is up of making these. This was actually the very first kind of load development that I ever did, and this stuff ended up really good. What's the numbers on this? This is my book I had when I did it. Average velocity 3,040 feet per second. Standard deviation of 6 with an extreme spread of 12. So these are pretty good hand loads. I'm pretty excited, pretty proud of them. All that being said, I got the camera rolling down there at 100 yards. I use the core locked. I'm going to stretch this out to, you know, hunting distances. But when I do the Will It Hunt video series, if you're familiar with my show, I'm going to use this hunting ammo because we want to stretch out in hunting scenarios. This is not a, I guess some people hunting with these long range hybrids. I don't know, but to me, this is a hunting bullet, and this is a precision bullet. I don't know. Anyways, high BC, whatever. Let's see how my bore sight was. I got 2 little pieces of paper down there. What in the devil? And don't want a single feed. Let's see if it'll load from the mag. Man, we might not be using these core locks. These core locks loaded in my Ruger American, but maybe the chamber of this Seekins won't use the core locks. Huh, interesting. Okay, so maybe when I do the long range hunting video, I'm not going to use the, well, okay, so for whatever reasons, this Seekins won't load the lead nose. Let's load those, put those close to each other. That's why. Because somebody put a 6mm Remington box in my 6mm Creedmoor ammo. Hold on, I will be right back. My goodness, that's crazy. Somebody put a 6mm Remington in with my Creedmoor. Somebody was me, but I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, let's try this again. Yeah. Box says 6 Creedmoor. And my beard's getting long. Let's even look at the brass. Brass says 6mm Creedmoor, so we should be on to something here. Let's hold. Oh, I took the mag out. I'm gonna hold dead center. There should be 2 staples in the target, right in the middle. Hey, that fed perfect. Should be 2 staples right in the middle. And I'm gonna hold, splitting the difference in between them. See how we like this parallax knob. Oh, that's a clear image. I like that big parallax knob on the side. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna hold right in between those staples and we'll see where we're at and get it dialed in so we can stretch it out. A good trigger in there. Up and down is perfect, and we hit left a little bit. So about 3 inches, 2.5 I guess left. So right, we need to come, that would be about 8 clicks. It's left, so we need to go right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try that. See where we're at. I don't think I've tested this core locked in this 6 Creedmoor in this rig yet. Alright, split the difference in between those staples again. Actually, you know what? We already made a mark on that left target. Let's go bullseye that one. And we're bullseye. I'm going to call that sighted in. So now, I'm going to sight in, or not sight in, but zero this turret. So let's take a look at that while we're sitting here. And I didn't look at that yet, but you can learn here with me and we'll figure it out. So we're zeroed at 100 yards, but this is saying 8.4 mils, so we don't want that. It looks like this is the easy screw off type. If so, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, toolless design. That is some of my favorite turret caps. So now we can pop that right off. Didn't have to get a little screwdriver or Allen key. Some of them have, you know, 3 on there. Find the 0. And we're going to set the 0 right here in the center. I love these type of turret caps because, like I said, no tools. And then hold it still and tighten it back down. All the way down. And just test it a little bit. Clicking up to 1, clicking back down to 0. Right there. Now let me set the camera down range to 2, and we're just going to start dialing it based off my charts that I already have. I've taken these hand loads out of this out to 1,438 yards. So I know that these in this rig are dialed in money with my best hand loads I've ever done. So and we'll stretch it out, work off my charts, and then we're going to bring it back to 0, and then hit here, and we'll see how this scope works and how it tracks and how it does for long range. So let me go set the target camera on 200 yards. Be right back. Alright, so I'm all kinds of discombobulated here. That was with the Remington stuff, but we still need to sight it in with my hand loads. So now we'll switch over to the left target, put the hand loads in, but it'll probably, like those Remington core locks, just fine based on how I was able to dial it to bullseye. So let's see where the point of impact is with the hand loads here. Low and left. Good thing I remembered that. We might have been missing. So about 1 inch low means we need to come, it's low, so we need to go about, let's go 3 clicks up, and we need to come about 3 clicks right. And I'm gonna have to re-zero that turret again, but hey, at least I know how to do it now, huh? Well, I didn't move it far enough to the right, did I? Huh? Let's send another one. There we go, bullseye. So now I'm gonna zero this turret for this, and I'm gonna send it at 200, and then 300. We're gonna keep stretching it out. So be right back. All right, now 200 yards, and to be honest, I don't even have 200 written down on my charts when I ran the numbers. 200 yards, that's too close. No, I'm just kidding. But my 300 yard dial is 0.4 mils. This is a mil scope, so really it's probably honestly 0.1. This is going to be pretty flat. 109 grainer over 3,000 feet per second, but I'm gonna go ahead and dial 2 and just send one and hold middle of that plate. That's an 8-inch plate. All the steel on my range is Caldwell AR 500. So that's a Caldwell 8-inch plate. Set my parallax. Ooh, yeah. I like the clarity. I like the eye relief. So far, so good. Let's see if we hit that plate. Hit it a shade high. Let's back it off one. There's 0.2. I dialed it for 0.3. Whoops. See another one. Hold dead center. There we go. Yeah, so about 0.2. Now, what's our 0.3? 0.3 on my chart, or 300 yards rather, says 0.4 mils. I tested this, like I said, a long time ago, so I'm gonna dial this up to 0.4. And let's go send some at 300. We hit, we'll keep on going. Then we're gonna come back to 100. All right, now, so my chart said for 300 yards to dial 0.4. So I went to my top turret and I dialed for 0.4 mils. Now let's send one at 300, see what happens. If you've watched my Will It Hunt video series, you'd seen at 300 yards, I normally have a 1/3 size Caldwell deer. It's not a full size deer, it's 1/3 size deer. So, man, I did not feed that in good. 1/3 size deer at 300 yards. We're still not that far, but we got to prove it here to keep on going further. This glass is clear. Just my parallax. I'm gonna hold right at the heart. See where we hit. I'm not gonna hold for any wind. And we hit slightly right. I was holding just a little bit left of there, like I said, in the heart. Send another one. It's too much fun not to. But we hit. I'll show you all these targets here at the once we get done, just to show you that they're smaller targets. I'm gonna hold a little bit left of where I held that time. There we go. Right in the heart, right where I was aiming. So our 0.4 mil dial for 300 works. The scope came up at distance like it was supposed to. Now at 400, this chart is saying for a full mil. Now I did make that chart like a year ago, actually probably 2 years ago almost, in different weather conditions and stuff, but normally out to 400 or 500 you're still going to be good regardless of all that, at least pretty close. If you're going to be hunting, definitely test it out. But let's try 1 mil at 400. Let me go set that camera up down there at 400. We're hitting our deer at all the distances. The scope's dialing up like it should. My chart said exactly 1 mil, so I dialed it exactly 1 mil. Now I'm gonna hold dead center of the IPSC and send some and see what kind of a group we can do and see what happens. Dead center. Where's our target? Okay. Set the parallax perfect. I'll show you the reticle here in a little bit, but I like the reticle too. It's not too thick, it's not too small, and it has a dot in the middle. I was just telling one of my buddies, Box, yesterday, I like a reticle with a dot in the middle, but I'm gonna hold dead center. It might hit right because of some slight wind we got, or spin drift, but I'm gonna hold dead center. See what happens. I think I forgot to turn my hit indicator on, but we'll still see the hit. So that hit slightly low and right. Let's send another one. I might need to true up these numbers on my dial chart. Let me measure that from where I was holding. Nah, from where I'm holding, that only hit about a tenth of a mil low. So I'm gonna go ahead and send some more, and we'll see what kind of a 400 yard group I get with my hand loads out of this. Oh, I like that. I like it a lot. I told you these SDs are single digit SDs, extreme spread of like 12. This is a good recipe for this thing. Somebody asked me the other day, you still got that Havoc? I said, yeah, man. Sucker works good with those hand loads, baby. Same spot. Same spot. Now, let me measure that again. Measure it in my reticle. So I was hitting, like I said, just a shade low of where I was holding. So my dial for this distance is just a little low, maybe by a tenth. So if that's going to be 2, I'm going to bring it up 2 clicks and see if I can't get that steel in the noggin at 400 yards. There it is. Nice. That is not a big target to hit, hitting it in the noggin up there. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, 2 noggin hits. I'm gonna let this thing cool off. We'll bring it back to 100 and send them with the dial at 0 just to see how this scope tracks. Be right back and meet you back at a 100 yard target. All right, now back at 100 yards. And if you remember, when we sighted this in, we left it, our hit on bullseye was like a 1/4 inch high. So now when people talk about tracking, they mean when you're doing all this scope clicking, yada yada yada. This is on 0, so I can turn it back. You're doing all this crazy scope clicking and adjusting, and you're moving your reticle all over the place. You know, you're taking it out to a mile, you're bringing it back. When people say, does it track, or how's the tracking on a scope, they means, will it return right back to 0, or will it kind of return? Well, we just moved it all over the place again. Even after we took it out to 400, it'll be the true test. 0 on this turret, 0 on this turret. And our 0 at 100 was about a 1/4 inch high last time. So send 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever just to see if it's back at 0. Bullseye. Man, I tell you what, these hand loads are money too. So I'd say it tracks, huh? I guess. It was a 1/4 inch high, now we're hitting bullseyes, you know, within a 1/4 inch. You can't do much better than that. Yep. Let's send one more just for fun. Man, I didn't want to burn all these hand loads, but oh well. We're doing it for science. Come on, man. Yeah, and that sent one in the same hole, so I'd say it did just fine with all that moving around, taking it out to 400 and whatever. Yeah, let's go look at the steel real quick. All right, so here's where we just brought it back to 0, and I'd say it did just fine after we moved all those turrets around. We got, that's 3, that's not 2, that's 3. But yeah, That's about a 1/4 inch, 3-inch group right through the bullseye after we brought it back to 0 on the turret. Let's go look at our 200 and 300 and 400 yard targets. And there's my 200 yard steel. That was dialed for 0.3 mils when I dialed it for 0.2 mils like it should have. I hit dead center bullseye. Let's go look at 300. And here's my 300 yard deer. Just to show you the size again. This is a small piece of steel. That's not a full-size deer. Going for the heart. Boom, boom. That was dialed for 0.4, so the scope come up worked like it's supposed to. Let's go look at 400. And here's my 400 yard IPSC. This is actually 3 hits if I can get my shadow out of the way. We sent 3 there. Looks like, I don't know, or did we send 4? I don't know, that looks like 4. I'm pretty sure we sent 3 there. And then I went for 2 in the dome and we got 2. Boom, boom. So, hey, money out to 400 yards. So, I'll kind of end the video here down on the tailgate where we started. So, Discovery Optics. This is the 6-36. Like I said, a bunch of people have been asking me to take a look at it. Hey, everything, the features that are packed into this thing, if you go look at all what's out there, everything else, at least far that I know of, is going to be way in the big time moolahs, right? Like the value that's packed into this thing, it did what it's supposed to do. Yeah, I don't see why not. I like the thing. Put one on your deer rig, put one on your bench rig. This is more of a bench rig style. 36 power zoom. But even cranked all the way up at 300 and 400 yards, I had it cranked all the way up to 36. And the parallax was able to dial it in, you know, clear glass. But yeah, if you're not familiar with them, definitely on the budget friendly side. The price of this thing will probably surprise you if you take a look, if you already don't know how much they go for. I'll take a look and see if we can even get some more discounts on top of that. Sometimes we're able to do that. Y'all watch the show, seen us do that before, but hey. And just to show you exactly what I was seeing, this is the reticle in that thing. And then when you start cranking up the zoom, you know, this gets bigger with the first focal plane and part of the Christmas tree disappears. But yeah, it's the Discovery 6-36, and that's the reticle it's got in there. Appreciate you watching. Comment down below, let me know if you have one of these. Let me know what you think about it. That's the Discovery Optics 6-36. Pretty groovy. Hitting them in the dome at 400 yards and bringing it back to 0. I mean, that's really all you can ask for. But hey, appreciate you watching. Stay tuned. I got tons of videos on the way I'm super excited about. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Hooty-hoo.